Short Tongue shouted at Arlo's approach. The Tailspinner Queen had taken frogs captive to feed her young. Arlo did not hesitate. This was a fate he wouldn't wish on even his worst enemy. They crept up on the 8-legged monstrosity as she ensnared another frog in her webs. The webbing was thick and tough, but their blades soon cut them to ribbons. Short Tongue sent the terrified frog toward Bogmire Forge. Injured though she was, the queen had no intention of giving up her hunt. Her young hungered. Another villager freed. They too headed for Bogmire, and Arlo wondered how many more frogs it could take. Dank and unsettling place. It had to be the Queen's lair. Arlo wondered what his father would say if he could see him risking his life for frogs. The Tailspinner Queen was dead, and the frogs were soon at work rebuilding the village. The warden was sure mammalian amphibians. Short Tongue had reports of a strange creature in the rift, one that disappears in front of their eyes. It was a stealth claw, he was sure of it. They should go back to where they fought the last one and look for clues. No stealth claw, but an attack nonetheless. A band of warrior frogs harassing the village blacksmith. Their eyes lit up at the sight of Short Tongue. Only they called him by a name which we need not repeat here. Short Tongue and Arlo returned the insult, and with more than words. The blacksmith was glad to head to Bogmire in safety. All should have been silent in the blacksmith's wake, but Arlo was suddenly aware of a squelching of mud around them. The stealth claw was here. They had won this round, but they could not leave it at that. Frog and Rat agreed to hunt the stealth claw to its lair. Short Tongue was panicked. He had seen the Sky Scorchers arrive from Mount Cauldron and knew what this meant for the safety of Bogmire Forge. He asked Arlo to hunt the beasts and rid them from the rift. The stench of the toad core's rotting body had drawn Arlo to the area. It seemed like it had also attracted a hungry Sky Scorcher. As soon as the toad core eye hit the ground, Arlo knew he was in for a fight. Arlo wondered if it was him that was now being hunted. Arriving at the nest, Arlo was surprised to see a toad core, especially as they had become a favorite meal of the Scorcher. As the toad core scoffed down one of the eggs, it became very clear why it had been lured in. With the Sky Scorcher vanquished, Short Tongue was worried. A group of frogs had been seen in the rift. They must be lost and would no doubt be in need of rescue. From afar, the villagers seemed lifeless, lost in battle or to the cold. But up close, the truth was revealed. They were training dummies. It was a trap. The assassin was vicious, but Frog and Rat held their ground. Injured, the attacker fled, but Short Tongue was not about to let him escape. The pair found him licking his wounds at a makeshift camp. The assassin seemed to forget his pain as he took up his weapon. With the assassin defeated, Arlo breathed a squeak of relief. But Short Tongue was not done. He needed to know who had sent them. The Frog's frantic search through the assassin's belongings gave up the answer. A gold coin. The assassin's gold coin pointed the pair toward one path. There was no choice but to confront the warlord, Glubba the Gut. The warlord sat surrounded by enslaved frogs and laughed at the pair's demands for their freedom. He had a surprise for his guests. The stench of the dungeon hit them as hard as its floor, a floor that started to shake, and from the shadows emerged the largest toad core that Arlo had ever seen. frog slayed the beast, its bloated corpse sinking slowly into the mud. Arlo felt a pang of regret. It had been a slave as much as the others. They found the warlord's soldiers celebrating the pair's defeat. Rat and Frog were happy to correct them. Seeing the last of his soldiers fall, Glubba croaked his rage. He was the greatest warlord of all frog kind, and they would regret this day. Glubba's tyranny had ended. Short Tongue offered the frogs a home at Bogmire Forge. Together, he and Arlo had freed the rift as well. The fear in Short Tongue's eyes unnerved the warden. The rift had a new threat. Tailspinners. Eggs from these 8-legged beasts had hatched, and frogs were their favorite food. Short Tongue was right. The rift was infested with tailspinners. Their webs would snare all if they were not stopped. Freeing the frog from the web, Arlo sent him back to Bogmire.